Internet! Hello, you lovelies! I want to talk about one of my biggest surprises of 2024, and that is Strange Darling.
So lucky tonight.
I know it isn't true.
This is a movie I saw completely out of word of mouth. This is a movie that was not on my radar whatsoever, and through the power of social media, I was like, I absolutely have to see this. Everyone is raving about this. Me, personally, I never don't see a movie out of word of mouth because I want to experience whether or not I enjoy it. If something is on my radar, I will be seeing it if I plan to see it. But I love when the opposite happens. A lot of people are like, oh, I wait until the reviews come out and then I decide to see it. I'm the other way. If I'm going to see it, I'm seeing it. But if something is not on my radar and then there's this incredible surge of, oh my God, check this out, I am so happy to report that for me was Strange Darling, a movie that came out of nowhere that I loved. If you're new to this page, please hit that subscription bell. I'm trying to hit 36K the month of my birthday, which is this month. I turn 36 next week, and I want to hit 36K this month if at all possible. Please also hit that like because it helps the algorithm. Leave a comment below if you've seen Strange Darling. If you've seen it, I would love to know what you thought and also how you heard about it. This is a really cool grassroots guerrilla campaign of marketing where it's getting the word out on this tiny little indie, again, that I loved. Let's talk about Strange Darling. We're going to do non-spoilers at the top, and then at the end I'm going to get into spoilers. So I'm going to give like a 2-minute non-spoiler. The movie is very spoiler heavy, and that is the magic of the film. A huge part of why I loved this film was knowing nothing about it and going in blind, just hearing that it was good. I would not have had nearly the same experience if I knew what this movie was about. So please, 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 if you haven't seen this, do not watch the spoiler portion of this video. It is not going to be the same experience for you. Even if you think you love spoilers, and a lot of people do, I don't understand it, I hate spoilers. But even if you think you hate spoilers, you won't have the magic trick that this movie does. So please leave before I get into spoilers if you want to see this movie whatsoever. All right, non-spoilers, all the caveats aside, non-spoiler thoughts on the film. This movie's tension is like nothing else. This movie's use of chronology is absolutely genius in the way it was when I first saw Tarantino play with chronology. It is an absolute indie filmmaker's dream, and it's one of those movies that I think is going to convince people that were on the fence about filmmaking to get into it. This is one of those movies that every film student is going to love, and a lot of people are going to be inspired to make things through. It is pure artistry. It is something that is raw creativity, and I love that this can do that and be a smaller budget film with only 2 actors I knew out of a very contained cast, and then explode into Kid Cudi having screenings in LA to get the word out about it. This is something that I think will be a cult following that will inspire. And I talk a lot about my experience with blockbusters, and I think that's how you keep movie theaters open. I talk a lot about these giant, larger-than-life movies because I love those too. I truly think there is absolutely as much merit in something gigantic as something contained. But I do find when I talk about contained stuff, one, it doesn't do as well, and YouTube is a business, but it is something that is so hard to quantify when you see creativity as a lead. And this film's lead is creativity. And I think that happens much more in films that don't have as much oversight, as much studio involvement. Less cooks in the kitchen means you can make something that feels like this raw creative vision. And this movie is that to a T. It stars Kyle Gallner, who I love from so many movies in the early 2000s, as well as his time on CW. Like, the dude is a powerhouse, and he's got like, it's crazy that some of the actors from that era became either retired or giant stars or are these incredible like actors that have all of this behind the eyes talent, this passion, all this creativity, and they're just like one role away from being a household name either for the first time or again. And I hope this is Kyle Gallner's one time away. I hope he books this giant blockbuster next and he's suddenly everywhere.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
And then the other lead is Willa Fitzgerald. Now, Willa Fitzgerald, I had never seen. I didn't watch the show she's known for, Scream Queens or something like that. I just hadn't seen her, and she is so good.
How did I get?
She, not only now I want to be a household name, but like, I loved her so much I immediately started fan casting her in the giant tentpoles I usually talk about. Like, immediately I was like, man, Emma Frost. I was immediately so captivated by this performance that I want to see her in roles that I have an immediate attachment to. Like, seeing someone that you don't have any attachment to and then wanting to be some of your favorite characters means that performance was everything. And this is one of those performances. She was just so captivating, and when I get to spoilers, I can talk about more why. But to wrap up the non-spoilers, these two performances anchor the film. There's another incredible set of performances led by Ed Begley Jr., but the two of them will absolutely captivate you and put you in a position to re-examine all of your prejudices. They'll put you in a position to make you recontextualize how you perceive people, and that is the highest praise I can give to a film and to a performance. This affected how I see the world, how I judge people, how I assess situations. It is one of those movies that is a before and after life moment. So, highly recommend this film without giving anything away. Go see it, because now we're getting into spoilers. Full spoilers, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. If you haven't seen it, get out of here. I promise you, you want to see it without knowing what I'm about to talk about. All right, spoilers, last warning, Strange Darling spoilers. This movie does the coolest thing with chronology I've seen in probably a decade, and it sets you up in the first half by using chapter 3 and 4, I believe, of a story, and then zooming back to the beginning, and then intercutting the rest of time between time periods, but establishing a story in the opening that is everything you'd expect. The first 20 minutes of this movie, 15 minutes of this movie, I was like, I don't know why this is like, revolutionary. It's good. I'm impressed. These performances are great, but I've seen this, and that's exactly what it wants you to feel. It wants you to go, well, I know how this is going to go, and then it turns everything on its head. Not only is this based on a true story, allowing a level of legitimacy that is even more terrifying. Not only is this putting you in a position to look at all of your expectations, but, and here's why this is spoilers, it's making you recontextualize what masculine versus feminine expectations are to you, because this movie is called Strange Darling, and it's about them and your expectations, but also credits them as the lady and the demon, and one line of dialogue explains why he's the demon, and it's her seeing people as demons as she kills them, and the lady is the Electric Lady, a renowned serial killer of the time that kills so many people. People assume women aren't serial killers because it's less common. People assume the guy is going to be the one doing all the harm, especially with how this film is set up. People make assumptions about the safety, especially when women use vulnerability as a way to get safety, which I'm not judging people that are in horrible situations having to find a way into better situations, but this film shows the dangers of assumption. I'm not going to begin to speak on things I don't know about, like the psychology of what women have to do in horrible situations, because we live in a world where women are often put in horrible situations. But this film tells that story that also happens, where violence is done by weaponizing sexuality, while weaponizing violence, while weaponizing vulnerability itself and your assumption as a person that lives in this world. And I think that is so important to recontextualize what it is that we assume out of anyone, to always be at the ready. And I love that the end of this film was a woman that was at the ready that did want to help. I love that she never put her guard down all the way. She didn't let the vulnerability or the innocence blind her. She was still willing to help. And I love that this woman, which I also love that was a Native American woman who is strong and intelligent to the area she's in, who carries a gun to protect herself because of where she lives. I loved how immediately the casting decision showed this incredible maternal energy, but I loved that she still called and tried to help. She shot this woman and then called 911. She still was in the drive for help, even though she was threatened and she could have died. I think that was such a beautiful, women aren't the villain of the story, because that's opening up a whole can of worms with the wrong people. That is a dangerous precedent to set. And I assume there will still be people that assume that is the message of the film. But a woman at the very end taking out the killer and then still striving to help her is a beautiful message that anyone can be in danger and still want to help, even though this person is an active serial killer. So I think the movie really spoke to me in a way of what my own expectations are of movies, but also of people, what my own assumptions are about vulnerability, what I see these situations. I, as a person, whether it's smart or not, will jump out the door when I hear a car crash, when I hear someone getting in a fight. Like, I want to help, and that is not always the move. So it was a really personal experience of, like, if I hear gunshots, perhaps don't run out the door to see if everyone's okay. And this movie really spoke to me in a way where using chronology wasn't a gimmick. It was a storytelling element that really served it. The acting had to sell this, because otherwise it's very trite. The performances in this are absolutely astounding. The violence in this is visceral and real. What this movie does is use tropes of reality and of its genre to subvert expectations, to trick you, but you never feel like it's like, aha, gotcha. It's, man, I got to look at my shit. And that is the highest praise I can give to something that is using a twist as a narrative without it being a gimmick. It really makes you look at your own life, and I was so impressed. So, see Strange Darling. It is an empowering film in a lot of good and bad ways. It is a very beautiful film using very powerful visual mediums as well as storytelling mediums. The audio, the visuals, the DP work. Oh, I didn't even talk about Giovanni Ribisi. Giovanni Ribisi shot the hell out of this movie. Fucking DP'd this film on film. This movie is shot on film. And Giovanni Ribisi, like, of My Name is Earl and so many things. I can't even think of all the things. Giovanni Ribisi, one of those actors, I love that I can't think of anything, but I only pulled My Name is Earl. One of those actors, he's recently in Sneaky Pete. He's in so many incredible movies. He's one of those guys. You go like, oh, that guy, I love him. He DP'd this. This is his first feature film, and it's a masterpiece. This is some Roger Deakins, Greg Fraser shit, and it's on film stock, and you feel the film stock. This movie, that's another character in the film. Motherfucking film itself. I love that this movie is shot on film. Giovanni Ribisi is an absolute genius. The way this film is aesthetically, the story in the frame and the story being told by the narrative are both two powerhouses that work in conjunction with each other. It is incredible. This movie is astounding. Go find Strange Darling. It is very impressive. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like on this video, especially if I helped you discover something. It's so much easier to make videos just about big blockbusters. It really is. Those are going to get the clicks. But I really also want to bring awareness like this and Kneecap and the smaller films. So, especially on videos like this, please leave a like. Let YouTube know you want to see stuff like this. Please leave a comment, even if it's just the word comment. Let's grow this one so people might discover Strange Darling. If you found this film because of me, please let me know in the comments below. I love knowing that I built a platform that helps people discover art they may not have. So, let me know in the comments. Leave a like. Leave a subscribe. Leave things as you leave this video. As it ends, that's how things go. It all ends. I had a weird existential ending to this video. Just like the movie. It's heavy. Alright. I appreciate you. You watched this to the end. And that means a lot.